Hey there, Hofstra fans. Welcome to another episode of Blue and Gold Weekly. I'm your host, Kevin Dexter. It was another winning week for the Hofstra spring teams, and what a start to the season it's been for the Hofstra softball team. They're off to an 11-1 start in CAA play after an offensive outburst this weekend in a series sweep of Drexel. On Friday, everybody chipped in. Chelsea Villar, Dahlia Palacio, and Alanna Morse all hit home runs as the Pride scored 16 runs in a 5-inning, 16-0 win over the Dragons. Saturday, it was more of the same. Pride were up 7-0 in the 6th when Riley Smith ended it with a 3-run homer, Hofstra taking that game 10-0. And then on Sunday, it was a 9-run first inning for the Pride, capped off by a 3-run home run from Dahlia Palacio. Hofstra hung on to sweep the series with a 9-5 win. Well, two of the offensive stars have been senior Alanna Morse and junior Dahlia Palacio. I had a chance to catch up with both of them to talk about the Pride's hot start to CAA play. The Hofstra softball team is off to an 11-1 start in CAA play. Alanna Morse and Dahlia Palacio have both been a big part of that. Ladies, thanks for a few minutes. What is the confidence level of this team right now, Alanna?
I feel like going into conference play right now, we're really confident. We just feed off each other's energy. Our coaches have confidence in us as well, and we're just going into every game, fighting hard and doing our best.
Well, Dahlia, the offense has been incredible so far. This weekend against Drexel, you guys picked up the sweep. Most runs Hofstra softball has ever scored in a CAA series. What has been the key to the offense's hot start to the season?
I think just having such a stacked lineup and really there's no weak spots at all. You know that the person behind you can get it done no matter what, and we've just been sticking to the philosophy of getting someone on, moving her over, and getting her in. And then if we get extra runs or if the ball goes over the fence, that's just a bonus.
And you had a few big innings this weekend. Is that contagious when everybody's hitting like that?
Absolutely. I think we feed off each other really well, and we really love supporting each other. So just knowing that the next person in the lineup has your back really inspires us to do well.
Well, Dahlia, for you, CAA co-player of the week this week. Big weekend, 2 home runs, 9 RBI throughout the week. What has been going well for you at the plate?
I think just being able to simplify things and talking to our hitting coach, Coach Carla, she really helps us just simplify our at-bats and kind of just think about one thing at a time and just see ball, hit ball, get a good pitch to hit.
Well, this is the first season, of course, with this coaching staff. Susan Cassidy-Light coming in. You mentioned Carla Companion, of course, Nikki Amadeo back from last year. What has been the difference with this coaching staff and how they, allowed this early success?
I think Coach really pushes us to be our best. She challenges us every day in practice, and I think that really prepares us well for the games. Not taking a minute off, even in midweeks or in practice, we're treating them all like they're very important because that's what prepares us for these conference games. And, all the coaches are really supportive of us, and they do everything in their power to help us.
Early this season, you guys played some tough competition. I know they didn't all lead to wins, but in those games, when you play those tough non-conference games, you go on the road for a while. Has that led to this success? What did you guys learn in that tough non-conference portion of the schedule?
I think that just playing that tough competition, going down to Florida, George Mason, JMU, seeing that type of pitching and knowing that we can compete with those types of teams, no one can beat us if we're playing our game. So it really doesn't matter who's in the other dugout, just as long as we're being us.
Alanna, you were on the last Hofstra team to win the CAA championship when you were a freshman. Are there any lessons or memories you pass down as you guys are having this kind of season to the rest of the team?
I often tell the girls that it's about peaking at the right time. If one thing doesn't go well, that doesn't mean that we won't pick it up throughout the season, right? There's always going to be challenges, there's always going to be hard times, but it's just how you fight through those obstacles. And I think that as a team, we've been coming together and facing those challenges head on as one unit. And I think just sticking like that throughout the whole season and just sticking to our plan really will help us peak right at the good time.
To that point, you're 11-1 in conference play, you've got a big lead, but there's still a lot of time left in the season. So how do you approach that knowing you do want to peak at the right time?
Right. So I think just continuing to work hard each and every day, not taking anything for granted. Like Dahlia was saying, not worrying about who's in the other dugout, just focusing on us, right? Even after these wins, we still reflect on them and see what we can work on, how we can get better, and just knowing that there's always room for improvement and just keep working hard throughout the whole season.
Well, for both of you, what is the key here these next couple of weeks? What is the focus? Obviously, it's still a ways to go before you get to the conference tournament time. So what is the focus? What are the keys over these next few weeks?
I think just continue practicing at a high level, because when you practice at a high level, you play at a high level. And something that coach instills in us is that, like, when we practice high pressure situations, when we get to the game, it's going to be like we've been there before. So just keep doing that, and yeah.
Anything to add?
Yeah, I would agree. Just keep being on our grind and just working hard every day, just trusting each other, continuing to strengthen our relationships with each other, which is really what takes you the long way.
All right, Alanna, Dahlia, congrats on the early success, and we look forward to seeing you guys here at home, hopefully soon, as the field gets ready soon.
Thank you.
And thanks again to Alanna and Dahlia for a couple of minutes. It is a busy week ahead on the road for the Pride. Tuesday, a doubleheader at St. Peter's. Wednesday, they visit Fordham, and then they return to CAA play this weekend with a visit to Towson. Well, their counterparts on the baseball field also had a good weekend, taking 2 out of 3 from Northeastern in a CAA series, and both wins were dramatic. First, on Friday, it took extra innings. In the bottom of the 11th, Michael Brown delivered the walk-off base hit, scoring Gabriel Millara. Hofstra rallying back from an early deficit to beat the Huskies 5-4. Northeastern won the second game of the series 12-11 on Saturday, but there were some fireworks on Sunday. This home run from Daniel Escalante had the Pride back within 3 in the 6th inning. In the 8th, Tyler Cox joined the home run party with this long ball, but the Pride went into the 9th inning down by 3. They rallied to score 4, capped off by this walk-off base hit from C.J. Griggs, a pair of walk-off wins in the series for the Pride. The big rally to win it, 11-10 in the series finale. So the Pride now sit at 4-5 in CAA play. They visit Rutgers on Tuesday before also making a trip to Towson for a CAA series this weekend. Well, the Hofstra women's lacrosse team is off to a 3-0 start in CAA play. They picked up a big win this weekend at Towson. This one was the Nikki Manella show. 6 goals and 2 assists for the Pride star, and 4 of those goals came in the second half for the Pride to take the lead and keep it. They won it 13-10. Manella also added 8 draw controls for the Pride, who sit in a tie with Stony Brook for the top spot in the conference. They return to Schuert Stadium this weekend for a 12 o'clock start against Drexel. And the Hofstra men suffered another tight loss this weekend at Schuert, falling to number 20 Sacred Heart 15-13. Drew Bogardus had a breakout game. He tallied 4 goals, setting a new season high. Pride back at it at Schuert Stadium Saturday, a 3:30 start against Fairfield, and it will be a special one as the Pride will honor all-time leading scorer Ryan Tierney by retiring his number 13. That ceremony takes place just before the 3:30 face-off. And that'll do it for this week's episode of Blue and Gold Weekly. We'll be back next week with a brand new edition. Thanks so much for watching, and go Pride.